hopefully you've seen that really you're not limited by anything other than your imagination once you got a handle on jQuery and how to use Ajax and JSON and a little bit of PHP or some other server-side code to connect with a data source. So all you need to do now is figure out what sort of I should say web-based application you want to have on your website. And then I'm going to try to answer, in this tutorial, I'm going to try to answer the question of, well, where do I go from here? Where do I go to get data that I can put into a database, or where can I go to create my own, what's called a mashup, so that you've got your own web-based application. So here we have programmableweb.com. Programmableweb.com is a great collection or a directory of mashups. So if you want inspiration, you can go to the mashups tab and see how people have combined, say, Google Maps with other data sources, and you can see what types of mashups are most popular. Obviously mapping so far is most popular, followed by photo and then video. And you can go to the actual API section, and this is where you can click most popular, and under APIs and then most popular you can see which APIs are being used. And so you can see, okay, well, I can go to Flickr and use their API. So once with an API, that gives you access to Flickr's database or YouTube's functionality. Amazon e-commerce. So the API is the glue that's going to help you or your programmer connect your web-based application with another website, and that's why that's what creates a mashup. I also want to give you some ideas about places to go to get just data. So let's say you wanted to do something similar to what I showed you with the Florida counties. A great place to get public domain data is from our government. From what I understand, anything that our government creates, and that's the United States government, anything that our government creates is paid for with taxpayer resources, and so that data, that work is available for us to use free. There's no copyright on it. We get to use it. So you can go to anything, you can go to Google and type in anything with site:.gov, and that will look for websites that are .gov. Now, just because it has .gov on the URL doesn't necessarily mean it's a U.S. government website, but it's a good starting point. So I typed in census site:.gov, and census.gov comes up, and this is where I actually got some of the data that I used to populate the database in these examples. Another way to connect a third-party website with yours is to use RSS feeds. If you're not familiar with RSS, it stands for Real Simple Syndication, and so you and or your programmer will be able to use some programming code such as SimplePy. That's something that I highly recommend. If you're going to use PHP, simplepy.org is a place where you can grab some open source code that you can download to your computer and then upload to your web server that will give you the ability to handle RSS feeds very, very easily. So once you grab those feeds, let's say that you wanted to grab Yahoo's weather feed for a certain city. That's available via RSS, and so if you know the city or the zip, you can grab the weather information from Yahoo or from several other different sources. Or the news, for example. You could grab local news. So we could do a mashup where you've got these different counties, and then as soon as you click the county, it's going to pull the news in by RSS. So that's what you would do. You would look up a popular RSS feed or find another API and just pull that information in. Another Google search that you could do is just do a search for public domain data and start looking for the best places. The best thing to look for is something like this, which says index of public domain resources. So hopefully there would be a list of public domain resources. So that one result might send you off in a whole bunch of different directions as far as places where you could get copyright-free data that you can populate your database with. And one of those places is Wikipedia. So you can grab information out of Wikipedia, and based on my understanding, the information is free to use. It's open source. Here is a list that I found of very popular APIs. And again, APIs are the glue that you or your programmer are going to be able to set up to connect your web-based application to essentially create a mashup between different third-party websites into one nice web-based interface. And jQuery will probably be the JavaScript code, the JavaScript library that you use to bring all of these different data sources together. But if you go down this list, this is a huge list broken out by category. So you got calendar APIs, community APIs, email, financial, maps, tons of maps, and messaging APIs, music APIs. So, and I'm only halfway through the list. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there are just a ton of APIs out there that give you a way to communicate with someone else's database and pull information out of there. Now you have to be careful. Please read the terms of service for these third-party websites so you understand what's allowed and what's not allowed. And that's pretty much it. Once you have an idea of what you want to put on your website, just go out and find an API, find some public domain data, and if you need some inspiration, go to programmableweb.com and go under the mashups tab and look at the most popular link under mashups, and that should give you a starting point for some great ideas about different types of third-party websites that you can pull together into one web-based Ajax application. So I hope you enjoyed, and I can't wait to see what you put together.